Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders entered Week 3 of the NFL season with a challenge that would test the depth of their roster in a position often overlooked but absolutely critical to offensive flow: tight end. With veteran John Bates sidelined due to a nagging groin injury, the responsibility fell on the shoulders of backups Ben Sinnott and Colson Yankoff to step into the spotlight against the Las Vegas Raiders. It was the kind of test that could either expose a lack of preparation or reveal hidden strengths, and in this case, it was the latter. Head coach Dan Quinn, in his first season steering the Commanders, came away with praise for both the performance on the field and the way his coaching staff designed the offensive plan to maximize what his young tight ends could do. In a league where injuries are inevitable and depth is constantly tested, this game served as a reminder that having reliable backups is not just insurance, it's survival. For Quinn and offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, the task was more than just filling a hole left by Bates. It was about reimagining the role. Bates has built his reputation on his ability to handle mismatches, particularly when it comes to dealing with large defensive ends or acting as an extension of the offensive line in the blocking game. Without him, Washington couldn't just plug in someone and expect the exact same production. Instead, they leaned into the unique skills of Sinnott, a player whose athleticism and speed off the snap allow him to win in different ways. Quinn acknowledged as much in his post-game comments, noting how the design of the offense took into account the differences between Bates and Sinnott, highlighting how the rookie was used to get off the ball quickly and beat defenders before they could even engage. It wasn't about copying Bates' game. It was about finding a new rhythm. The results spoke for themselves. Sinnott didn't just fill in, he stood out. This was the most significant playing time of his young career, and he rose to the occasion in a way that reassured both his teammates and the coaching staff. Quinn pointed out how impressed he was not just by the workload Sinnott handled, but by the fact that it was paired with his best performance to date. That combination of increased responsibility and elevated execution is what every coach hopes to see when backups are thrust into action. It's one thing to simply tread water, but it's another to make a noticeable impact, and Sinnott managed to do exactly that. Aggressive, decisive, and unafraid to take chances, he brought energy and urgency to the position that kept the offense moving smoothly even in Bates' absence. What made Sinnott's showing particularly encouraging was the way it fit into the overall flow of the game. Offenses are constantly walking a tightrope, balancing the passing attack with the running game, reacting to the momentum of each drive, and adjusting to what the defense gives them. In this matchup, Washington leaned heavily into its running game as it found success against the Raiders' defensive front. That shift didn't minimize the role of the tight ends. If anything, it magnified it. Sinnott's ability to engage defenders quickly and create lanes was crucial in sustaining drives, and his willingness to attack at the second level gave Washington's ball carriers the space they needed to keep churning out yards. Quinn praised that aspect most of all: the aggression, the refusal to wait for plays to come to him, the desire to strike first and dictate the action. That kind of mentality can be contagious within a team. It's worth remembering just how challenging this kind of situation can be for a young player. Tight ends are often asked to do a little bit of everything: block like a lineman, run routes like a receiver, and read defenses with the same awareness as a quarterback. For a backup, the mental side of the game can be just as daunting as the physical. You're not always getting the first team reps during the week, and your preparation has to be as much about mental visualization as it is about live practice. Sinnott managed to translate all of that preparation into execution, and that's why his performance drew such positive reviews. It wasn't about perfection, it was about playing with confidence, knowing where to be, and seizing the opportunities presented. Colson Yankoff also deserves mention here, as he too stepped into a larger role than usual. While Sinnott drew the lion's share of attention, Yankoff's presence provided the Commanders with flexibility, allowing them to maintain personnel groupings that kept the defense guessing. In today's NFL, where offensive diversity is king, having multiple tight ends who can contribute is a luxury. Washington's ability to rotate and mix their usage of Sinnott and Yankoff showed that this depth chart may have more potential than many originally thought. For a team trying to establish its identity under a new coaching regime, that's a promising sign. The timing of this depth test couldn't have been more critical. Bates' groin injury is the kind that can linger, and while there's hope he'll return soon, the reality is that Sinnott may be asked to hold down the fort for at least another game or two. The fact that he's already proven capable of stepping in without disrupting the offense means the Commanders won't have to scramble or drastically alter their approach if Bates remains unavailable. In a league where injuries can derail entire seasons, having that security blanket can't be overstated. It's the kind of situation that not only provides peace of mind to coaches, but also builds trust within the locker room. Players see that the next man up is ready, and that strengthens belief in the collective. Looking ahead, the Commanders will shift their focus to the Atlanta Falcons in Week 4, and this upcoming matchup will present a new set of challenges. Atlanta has a defense known for its physicality and speed, and the tight end position will once again be a crucial part of how Washington attacks. Whether it's helping in pass protection against an aggressive front seven or slipping out into the flat to provide a quick outlet, Sinnott's role is unlikely to shrink. If anything, this test against Las Vegas may have been the confidence boost he needed to approach future games with even greater assertiveness. And for Dan Quinn, who understands as well as anyone the value of defensive disruption from his years coaching on that side of the ball, having tight ends who can neutralize pressure points is a tactical weapon. Beyond the immediate implications for the Commanders, Sinnott's emergence is part of a larger story within the NFL, the growing importance of depth players. Every season, fans and analysts focus on stars and starters, but championships are often shaped by the unsung contributors who step in when adversity strikes. For Washington, this was a microcosm of that reality. No one expected Week 3 to be defined by the performance of a backup tight end, yet that's exactly what happened. And in a season that's still in its early stages, moments like these can become turning points. They can shape confidence, dictate strategy, and build momentum that carries into future weeks. It's easy to overlook just how fragile success can be in professional football. One injury can unravel months of planning. One weak link can be exploited by opponents who spend endless hours dissecting film for vulnerabilities. That's why coaches like Quinn stress the importance of depth from the very beginning of training camp. They know it's not a matter of if backups will be needed, but when. In that context, Sinnott's performance wasn't just a pleasant surprise. It was validation of the process. It was proof that preparation pays off, that development matters, and that when opportunity knocks, being ready to answer can make all the difference. The Commanders may not have envisioned their Week 3 narrative being about their tight end depth, but that's the beauty of football. It's unpredictable, shaped as much by who rises to the occasion as by the stars who dominate headlines. For Washington, the rise of Ben Sinnott was a reminder that even in the face of setbacks, new strengths can be discovered. And as they march forward into a challenging stretch of the season, that discovery may prove to be one of the most valuable storylines yet. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. It seems like the Washington Commanders locker room might be buzzing with more than just the usual chatter, because a recent comment by wide receiver Terry McLaurin has set off a storm of speculation. While the NFL has always been fertile ground for behind-the-scenes drama, fans and analysts alike are now fixated on what McLaurin actually said, and more importantly, who it was directed at. Sources close to the team, who prefer to remain anonymous, suggest that the veteran wideout didn't mince words when discussing a fellow teammate, sparking whispers that the tension in the locker room may be higher than anyone initially realized. McLaurin, known for his fierce competitiveness and straightforward personality, reportedly made remarks during a casual interview that many insiders interpreted as critical of another player's commitment and performance, though the exact nature of the comments has yet to be fully confirmed. The situation has ignited a wave of conjecture among fans, analysts, and social media commentators, who are now dissecting every interaction between McLaurin and his teammates on and off the field. The NFL, of course, thrives on narratives that blend both performance and personality, and this latest episode fits perfectly into the ongoing drama surrounding the Commanders. Terry McLaurin, who has consistently been one of the team's most reliable playmakers, is no stranger to speaking his mind, but for him to publicly or even semi-publicly, critique a teammate is rare enough to grab headlines. Rumors are circulating that the comments were made in the context of practice frustrations, perhaps after a miscommunication on a route or a dropped pass that cost the team valuable yardage. Some insiders suggest that McLaurin's words were not meant to be harsh, but were rather an expression of disappointment from someone who sets extremely high standards for himself and expects the same from those around him. Nevertheless, in a league where every word can be amplified by media outlets and fan speculation, even a minor critique can snowball into what feels like a locker room scandal. Social media has, unsurprisingly, run wild with speculation. Clips from McLaurin's post-practice interview have been dissected frame by frame, with viewers analyzing his tone, hand gestures, and pauses for hidden meaning. Some fans argue that McLaurin's comments reflect a larger issue within the Commanders roster, hinting at potential fractures between key players. Others insist that this is typical competitive behavior and nothing to read too deeply into. The narrative, however, has already begun to take on a life of its own, with rumor sites and fan forums debating which player could have drawn McLaurin's critique. Some suggest it might be one of the younger receivers struggling to find consistency, while others speculate it could involve a veteran who has had issues with injuries or form over the past season. What makes this story so intriguing is that McLaurin has not clarified his statements, and the team has remained tight-lipped, creating the perfect environment for speculation to flourish. If we look at McLaurin's career trajectory, it's easy to see why his words carry weight. Drafted in 2019, he quickly established himself as one of the most explosive receivers in the league, combining elite route running with the ability to make contested catches. His dedication to his craft is widely recognized, and teammates often speak about his relentless work ethic. In this context, any criticism from McLaurin might be interpreted less as personal attack and more as a reflection of his high standards for the team. Yet, the NFL is a league where perception is just as important as performance, and McLaurin's reputation as a fierce competitor could either mitigate or exacerbate the fallout depending on how the story evolves. What's particularly fascinating is the timing of these remarks, coming in the middle of a season when locker room cohesion can directly impact wins and losses. Analysts are already weighing in on whether this could influence the Commanders' offensive rhythm, chemistry between quarterbacks and receivers, and even the team's overall morale. Adding to the intrigue, there are whispers from around the league suggesting that McLaurin's comments have reached the ears of other teams. In the NFL, the media landscape is unforgiving, and a single critique, especially one perceived as targeting a teammate, can fuel trade rumors, contract discussions, and even strategy changes. Some insiders hint that front office personnel are monitoring the situation closely, both to assess potential impacts on team performance and to gauge McLaurin's relationship with the coaching staff. While no formal statements have been issued, it's not uncommon for general managers and head coaches to quietly intervene in situations like this to ensure that internal disagreements do not spill over into public view. The tension, however, seems to have already done its work, with fans speculating that this could influence locker room dynamics for weeks, if not months. Meanwhile, commentators on sports networks are framing McLaurin's remarks as part of a larger discussion about leadership and accountability within the Commanders. Some argue that a player of McLaurin's caliber has a responsibility to call out underperformance in order to maintain competitive standards. Others caution that public criticism can backfire, creating resentment among teammates and attracting negative attention from media and fans alike. The balance between leadership and diplomacy is delicate, especially in a league as scrutinized as the NFL, and McLaurin's position in the hierarchy of the team adds an extra layer of complexity. With this in mind, every interview, every social media post, and even every practice session is now being watched for clues about how the team is responding internally. Rumors are spreading that the coaching staff has held private meetings to address the situation, though details remain unconfirmed, fueling even more speculation about who said what, when, and to whom. As the days progress, the story shows no signs of fading. Insider sources suggest that locker room dynamics are being closely monitored, and some even hint that this incident could influence upcoming matchups, player rotations, and the Commanders' overall approach to high-pressure games. Analysts are debating whether McLaurin's comments could serve as a wake-up call, motivating the team to elevate its performance, or whether it could lead to a subtle rift that hampers on-field cohesion. Fans, of course, are divided. Some see McLaurin as a passionate leader, holding his teammates accountable, while others worry that any public critique risks undermining team unity. Social media discussions continue to dominate, with hashtags trending that reference McLaurin, unnamed teammates, and the ongoing locker room tension. Each new post, meme, or rumor adds fuel to the fire, creating an almost real-time soap opera that blends athletic performance with interpersonal drama. Ultimately, the story of Terry McLaurin and his remarks about a fellow Commanders player highlights the intersection of talent, personality, and media scrutiny in professional sports. In an era where every word can be amplified, misinterpreted, or weaponized, McLaurin's comments serve as a reminder that the NFL is about far more than X's and O's. It's also about relationships, leadership, and the delicate balance between individual standards and team cohesion. As the rumor mill continues to churn, fans and analysts will undoubtedly be watching closely, looking for signs of tension, reconciliation, or further controversy. Whether this turns out to be a momentary spark or the beginning of a deeper storyline, one thing is certain. The whispers surrounding McLaurin's comments have captured the imagination of the football world, leaving everyone eager to see how the drama unfolds both on and off the field. And in a league that thrives on narratives of conflict, redemption, and personal stakes, the unfolding McLaurin saga promises to be one of the most compelling stories of the season, a reminder that sometimes the most intriguing plays happen off the field, in moments of candid expression that ripple through a team, a fan base, and the media landscape alike. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.